I never planned for any of this. I never planned to give birth in a stranger's car. I never planned to wear a ring I did not choose. And I never planned to fall in love with a man I was supposed to only pretend to love. But life does not ask for your plans. My name is Lena, and this is the story of how I lost everything and somehow found something I never even knew I was looking for. It started on the worst night of my life. I was alone. I was in pain, and my baby was coming whether I was ready or not. I grabbed the door of the first car I saw, a sleek, expensive car parked along the curb. I pulled the handle and collapsed inside. The man behind the wheel turned around slowly. He stared at me like I had just fallen from the sky. "Get out," he said. "I need to go to the hospital," I whispered. "Please." "I am not taking you anywhere. Get out of my car." He was rude. His voice was sharp and cold, but his eyes were something else entirely. There was something warm hiding behind all that hardness, something human. And somehow, I knew he would not leave me. I was right. He drove me to the hospital. He sat in the waiting room, and when the nurse came out and asked if he was the father, he did not say no. I gave birth to a baby boy that night. Small, perfect, mine. But I had no one, no family, no home, no name to put on that form beside my own. The man's name was Cale, and within hours of meeting him, I became his fiancée. Not by choice, not exactly. His father was a powerful man, controlling, the kind of man who held money over his son's head like a weapon. When Cale's father saw what had happened, he was furious. He threatened to remove Cale from his will completely. Cale looked at me that evening with calm, steady eyes. "I want you to marry me," he said. I laughed. I thought he was joking. He was not. "If you don't," he said quietly, "my father will take everything, including finding a way to take your child." My heart stopped. "So what do you say?" he asked. "Yes or no?" I looked down at my son, sleeping in my arms, so small, so helpless, so completely mine. "Yes," I whispered. That was the beginning. Cale's home was enormous, cold in the way that expensive things sometimes are, beautiful on the outside, empty on the inside. He told me I could stay in my own room. He told me the nanny would help with the baby. He told me what to wear and how to look because his father needed to believe this was real. I hated him for it. He treated me like a doll, something to dress up and display. Not a person, not a mother, just a prop in his performance. But I had no choice, so I played my part. The wedding was set for 2 days away. 2 days to become someone's wife. 2 days to convince an entire family that I was loved. I was not loved. Not yet. The first night was hard. My baby would not stop crying. I tried everything. I rocked him. I held him. I sang softly into the dark room. Nothing worked. Then Kyle appeared in the doorway, tired, frustrated, but there. "Can you make him stop?" he said. "Do you think I am not trying?" I snapped back. We stood there in the dark together, two strangers, one tiny screaming baby between us. Kyle suggested opening the window. The cool air drifted in, and slowly, my son began to calm. "Try singing something," Kyle said. "I cannot sing. You are his mother. Your voice cannot be bad to him." I do not know why that made me feel something, but it did. I sang quietly, a soft, broken little melody, nothing special, but my son closed his eyes. And then I fell asleep. When I woke, Kyle was still there, sitting beside me, my son resting safely in the space between us. I did not say anything, neither did he, but something had shifted. The next day, we were called for a wedding fitting. His suit, my dress. I stood in front of the mirror and could not look at my own reflection. "What is wrong?" Kale asked. "Nothing," I said. "You are hiding something," he said quietly. "I can see it. You do not have to tell me, but I want you to know I am not trying to hurt you." I turned away, but the dress had unlocked something inside me, a memory, a night I had tried to forget, a man I had loved without even knowing his name. "Someone hurt you," Kale said. It was not a question. "No," I said. "Someone loved me, and I lost him." Silence. "I do not even know his name," I whispered. "We never exchanged names. We just knew each other completely in one night." Kale looked at me for a long moment. Something moved across his face, something I could not read. "I lost someone too," he said finally, "and I have never found anyone like her since." That night, I understood something. Behind his cruelty, behind his coldness, there was a man who was broken, just like me. Two people carrying the same kind of wound, walking around pretending they were fine. We were not fine, but somehow, being near each other made it a little easier to breathe. The wedding morning arrived, and everything fell apart. His father came to me before the ceremony. His eyes were hard and familiar in a way I could not explain. He spoke to me like he knew me. He called me Little Bird. He said I had seduced him once, that the child was his, that I was only after their money. I could not breathe. I could not speak, and Kale believed him. The look on Kale's face, that was the moment that broke me completely. I had spent days being treated like an object, but I had started to believe, just barely, that maybe something real was growing between us, that maybe this impossible situation was turning into something true. And then it was gone. I left. I found work where I could, cleaning, anything, just to survive, just to keep my son fed and safe. But the truth does not stay buried forever. It was a woman named Raya who finally said it out loud. She had been there that night, the masked night, the night Cale's father had tried to force himself on someone, and she confirmed it. It was not me. I was not the woman behind the mask. I was the other one, the one who had run, the one who had been saved by a stranger who appeared from the shadows and shamed the man into stopping. A stranger in a mask, a voice I had never forgotten. Cale stood very still when he heard the truth, and then something crossed his face, something I had seen before. That same slow recognition, that same pull towards something lost. You were there that night, he said. His voice was barely a whisper. The masked woman who ran, the one I helped. I stared at him. That was you, I said. You were the stranger. The room felt like it was spinning slowly around us. He was my mystery, my one night, my first love, the man I had searched for in every face since, the man I had told myself I would never find again. And he had been standing right beside me all this time. He crossed the room in 3 steps and stood in front of me, close enough that I could see everything in his eyes. All the walls, all the years, all the grief. I kept everything from that night, he said. I was looking for you in every room, in every face. I could not find you, and I could not forget you. You were cruel to me, my voice cracked. I know, he said. I was cruel because I was lost, because I had given up on finding what I had already found once and lost. And then you appeared, and I was so afraid. I did not know how to stop being afraid. He reached for my hand. Can you forgive me? He asked. And will you be my wife? For real, this time. I looked at him for a long moment. I thought about the night he saved me without knowing my name. I thought about the dark room and the crying baby and the open window and the cool air. I thought about the way he looked at my son, not like a burden, like something precious. Yes, I said. His father left that day, quietly, shamefully. He said everything he owned could be theirs. Cale looked at him without anger, just sadness. You cannot buy forgiveness, Cale said. Not this time. And his father walked away. I do not know if forgiveness will come for him someday. That is not my story to tell. My story is this. 2 strangers met beneath a sky full of stars. They loved each other without names, without plans, without promises. Life pulled them apart, and life brought them back. We hated each other once. We misunderstood each other completely. We hurt each other in ways that left marks. But we found our way home, to each other, to our son, to something real. Because true love is not something you can outrun. It is not something you can bury or replace or forget. It waits, quietly, patiently, until you are finally ready to stop running. I stopped running, and everything finally began. Thanks for listening to my story. If you liked it, hit that subscribe button, drop a comment, and tell me where you're listening from.